Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm doing a video on the top requested features that I and others wish to see in the Halo MCC in future updates. I'm going to start this list going from the ones that are probably the easiest developers can add to ones that might just end up being wishful thinking, but still I'm going to add them just because, you know, a lot of people want to see it happen. But even though I'm starting this list from what seems more practical to what seems less practical, at the very end I'm going to show where the community overall what they would like to see at the very end with the poll results. So starting off with number 1, add missing multiplayer game modes back. After the big MCC update, a lot of modes went missing in the matchmaking multiplayer. We are still missing game modes like Griffball, SWAT, Infection, which I enjoyed playing and are no longer there. Also, some game modes I don't see showing up anymore in things like Action Sack, where I wanted to try out that Troy game mode, but I haven't seen it yet in all the times I have played it. And also, I'd like to see some of the well-done community-made custom games and modes added to the playlist into things like Action Sack. Also, I think Action Sack should also be a free-for-all and just line up people into teams if custom games with teams comes up, and you only can bring in a party of 4 just in case a team game gets selected in Action Sack when it comes up. This way we can have more variety to play and even add others missing, because I'd really like to see some free-for-all ones get added into Action Sack and not just be team-based only. Even add other missing game modes that aren't there, and even exclusive modes that were only in one of the few of the games like Halo 4's Regicide, Dominion, and Ricochet, or just add them into Action Sack playlists. I want to see, you know, things like Juggernaut and Territories get added into the game modes as well. Even some things like Halo CE and Halo 2 Anniversary's Race. To those saying that's too many playlists that will split up the community's population, wait until you hear my next feature I'm going to list here. Number 2, Matchmaking Preferences. With that being said, we need to make some improvements to the matchmaking system. I do find map cycling better than voting and getting the same maps over and over, but even then, I like the idea to also have some choice in my options here. There are certain maps and modes I want to play or not play at all, and since veto and voting are garbage, which I'll do a video on why for another time, here is my take on what would be a better option here. We need a preference where it lets us choose in a game mode what we want for game types and maps that we want to play. Some people I heard just want big team Slayer and not have big team objectives. Some people like me just want to play a variety of Halo games all combined, but certain maps or certain modes on certain maps they want to avoid. For example, I want to play all the team objectives of Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, Halo 4, but there are certain maps I want to avoid altogether, or certain modes I don't want to play on those maps. So say for example you like Oddball and you like Halo 3 map Guardian, but you don't like playing Halo 3 Oddball on Guardian, and you want to be able to avoid that and choose the combinations of maps and game types you want to play on certain modes, like Team Arena. So that way you can select what you want to play and avoid those matches that you don't want to play at all. Even if the searching is longer, I'm pretty sure a lot of people like myself would prefer this. So if you don't care and you just want to be able to hop right on in real quickly and just play whatever, just straight on, just like a quick search, you can do that. And for those that want an option or be able to choose the things that they want to play with their combination of game modes and game types and maps, it's a win-win situation for everyone. And we really do need this, because literally there is no need for 5 team arenas just because people want to avoid certain Halo games. That's just ridiculous. Seriously, these should all be one playlist with a matchmaking preference. There is no need to have that many playlists. It's just wasting up space on the Find Game screen, and it's dividing the community into lower populations. It's unnecessary, and I have to back out from one game mode to the other, from Halo 2 to Halo 3 to Halo 2 Anniversary. That is incredibly unnecessary. This gives players what they want and would make players more happy to get into matchmaking. Seriously, 2 big team battles, 5 team arenas, 3 team doubles, and 2 team hardcores. That's ridiculous. We could cut that down into half the amount, from 16 to 8. that's unnecessary waste right there that could be used to add in back Griffball, SWAT, Infection. So by doing so, you instead get 11 playlists and have more options than the current 16 with less things and having missing things that aren't in the game. And so from that, you can see how exactly that fixes the population issue right there. Number 3, remove region lock. It doesn't affect me so much because of where I live, but I know a lot of others it does affect them in the places that they live or the countries that are just being affected more by this in a negative way. So I think it should go so that people can enjoy the game by actually being able to find players. This will help more gamers want to play. It's not worth getting on if you can't find a match. This would help improve the current population and help grow it further. Number 4, improved punishment system. Since Halo MCC first launched, and even to today, the punishment against team killers is a joke and absolutely frustrating for a lot of gamers. I and others are really hesitant to want to play the multiplayer sometimes when almost every match you're getting at least one player going around team killing and they aren't getting any option to kick them or an auto boot kicking them out from the match, and they're ruining the experience for everyone and no punishment against them. If there is a current system in place, it's clearly not working. This issue is going to kill off the population quicker than lag or glitch issues if these people aren't addressed. It would be a crying shame for the developers to have wasted all this time development wise and trying to improve MCC only for the population to die off in less than a year because of the out of control team killing that's still rampant. I even had a match in Halo 4 where a player splattered and team killed 10 times and never was given an option to kick him, and no one else could, and there was no booting or anything. So everyone else on our team had to just sit there and deal with this guy going around team killing. I believe that we need a 2-strike system that needs to be put in place here for most matches, except for the ones for vehicles that they should get 3 obviously. First time a player team kills is supposed to be kind of like a warning, and the second or third time with maps with vehicles, you're instantly removed from the map. It's automatic, disconnected, boom, you're done for the match. Either that or they just need to turn off friendly fire and splattering teammates off altogether. For modes like Griffball, for obvious reasons, either no friendly fire at all or remove any boot options, but still leave the auto boot feature in things like Halo 4 BTB that has no friendly fire, so players can't get around the team killing by splattering, which is less prevalent but still happens. And if you have a reputation of this behavior in matchmaking, say 3 times in a 24-hour period that you got kicked from, you get a timeout. You want to act like a child and ruin the experience for everyone else, you don't get to play. You get to sit out and think about what you did. Don't make it progressive like Halo 5's banhammer that got out of hand and gave people like 2-year bans. Just make it the same punishment every single time. I feel a 2-hour suspension of no matchmaking is fair, and when I mean 2 hours, I'm not talking about they just turn off their Xbox and walk away for 2 hours and get back on later. I'm talking about 2 hours of them sitting there matchmake searching where they won't find any matches. A punishment that in a way is telling the gamer that's team killing, this is what's going to happen to the MCC if people like you keep it up. No one will be able to find matches because you are ruining it for everyone and making them leave. Let's see how many will still want to team kill after that. And this punishment isn't just for team killers, but they're the worst kind, whether they're just doing it for trolling or just doing it for power weapons because they are selfish. But this is also for people like quitters. Maybe 3 to 5 times you quit matches in a 24-hour period will result in a ban as well, the same suspension. And for exploiters that find glitches out of the map or under the map, if they get caught when reported, they get an instant one as well if they decide to use these kind of exploits in a multiplayer matchmaking game in order to benefit themselves or ruin the experience for their teammates and so forth. Also, teammates committing suicide constantly also should be punished by a system. Maybe like 2 or 3 times they should, because I mean 1 time that happens, but 2 or 3 times, that's ridiculous. At that point, either you're really that bad and you really do need to go, or you're just intentionally doing it on purpose to make your team lose. And if somehow someone actually manages to hack the multiplayer matchmaking, if that's even possible, they should just be permanently banned from the matchmaking in general. I don't have a problem if someone mods in MCC and things that are single player, custom games, Forge. I don't really care about that stuff. I know at the end of the day though that's the developer's choice, but I don't see that as much of an issue when great modders have built cool stuff that has improved the game, like Game Sheet 13 making some cool stuff that I believe he even said himself that that he does it just for the fun. He does not do stuff like that in matchmaking. I think people that use software to cheat in matchmaking is the lowest thing a person can do in matchmaking. Back in the day, Halo 2, there were hackers and modders. We called modders people that modded custom games, and we liked those people because they made some cool stuff like the Donkey Kong mod. In fact, one of the YouTubers I know very well, Lord Zed, back in the day, I used to play with him, and I think he was the one that introduced me to that map. Of Donkey Kong. And modders like today, like GameCheat13, made some cool mods, and even the Halo 5 Exuberant mod tool. I like to see modders be allowed to be in Halo 5 and Halo MCC to make mods, as it only adds to the game. If they came out and said, as long as they don't make any black hat style of trying to damage the game and ruin the matchmaking experience, and they are only here to make mods for custom games and Forge and campaign and so forth just for fun, I don't see that as much of a problem. But then there were the hackers back in the day that used wall hacks and aimbots and black screens and lag switches to win matches. Those hacker types should get an instant ban if they even show up in matchmaking, though I believe Microsoft would also ban their accounts as well. But I know the developers of a game versus a console had different punishments. But just though I thought I should bring it up, even though I know 343 works in line with Microsoft, but I feel modders only add fun to Halo, like they did in the earlier years. Anyways, called the punishment system harsh, but I think it's fair, since these quitters and team killers and suiciders and so forth are just ruining the experience for most of the players that just want to have a good time in matchmaking. I stopped playing because of this originally, back when it first came out, and then I tried playing it again with the new updates, but it was still heavily present with people just team killing, and again made me not want to play the game as much anymore. Again, the second time I tried to give it a second chance, and I'm just getting annoyed by it. Again, it would be a crying shame for 343 to put in all this effort and wasted all this time trying to fix Halo MCC with all these updates, and all of it for nothing because of some this rampant team killing and quitting in the games, which leads to good chunks of players just leaving when this happens in every single match. Number 5, original character customization. This one might not be possible, but still highly requested, so throwing it out there. I'd love to see Halo MCC add the original character customization like they did in the original games themselves, like how in Halo 3 you could change your shoulders, your chest, your helmet. Currently, all you can do is select the body, and as a whole, you get the armor, so you just like for each one. So if you get EVA, you get it for the chest, the shoulders, the head automatically, and you can't really customize it. I want to be able to have, you know, my flaming Hayabusa helmet like I did in Halo 3 when I unlocked it. It was pretty cool to, you know, play matchmaking with that. Number 6, add new, improved, and missing features. I would like to see certain weapons and vehicles added back, not just in multiplayer, but in custom games and Forge. The Halo 2 Anniversary Spectre is still not in the multiplayer and is only in the campaign, not even in Forge or in custom games. Also, add in the Halo 2 Anniversary weapons into the Forge as well. Some are very different designs, like the sword, for instance, and the brute shot in Halo 2 Anniversary in the campaign look very different from the multiplayer versions. I think both swords are really great in the Halo 2 Anniversary, but something about the campaign one just looks so much better looking. If they could just add that in and call it the Halo 2 Anniversary campaign sword, but it maintains all the same traits of the Halo 2 Anniversary sword, and they're just the same thing, just a different look, but also with the sound as well, and the particle effects, that would be awesome. Even the Halo 2 Anniversary brute shot in multiplayer only has a placeholder art for the brute shot projectile still. It doesn't have its own projectile. If anyone's actually looked at it, it's actually just using a placeholder of the rocket launcher's projectile. If you look at the Halo 2 and Halo 3, it's just a simple object that doesn't even have a texture on it. It's just like black, dark looking, so they don't even need to do much for that. Just change out the asset, and they are using for the projectile. They can even use the one from the campaign, and also both of the brute shots look very different. But both those projectiles could just use the same exact thing to fix the Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer one that's just missing that projectile. And this goes with other weapons and vehicles and other features still missing. I noticed a few other issues with maps like backwash. The fog looks less dense in the one that they have now versus the classic one. The classic one, was very thick, and this one it's just not as much fog, and it removes that spooky vibe to it, as you can almost see people from the other side of the map, versus in the original you felt like people could just pop out of anywhere. Now it feels like you can just see the other side of the maps with no visibility issue at all. I used to remember in Halo 2 Anniversary, I used to like to sneak up on people playing Infection or playing Predator on that map and just be like dun 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 dun, 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 and just like sneaking up on people, and they just hear that and they're like, dude, I can hear that from proximity, I don't know where you're at, and just sneak up behind them, and just that was fun to do because no one could actually see where you were coming from. But in this one you can see it, so hopefully they can add those missing features in. Would be cool if they even added things that never were in the originals but were planned to be in the game that were cut, like Halo Combat Evolved. Energy Sword was planned to be in the game, but they never ended up doing it. And then there was also different variants of Halo 2 Classic Warthogs that never got added in, and also the Halo 2 Classic Blue Sentinel Beam, which was stronger but burned quicker than the red one that was only in the campaign that never made it to the multiplayer, and also the Halo 3 Arbiter skin for the elites in multiplayer. It would be cool if it was possible to add in the missing stuff and also new stuff on top of it and improve some of the features. It would be cool. If it doesn't happen, it's fine, but it would still be amazing if they could do something like that. Number 7, file browser and custom game search browser. This is a kind of 2-in-1 that I'm putting together because they both go hand in hand for obvious reasons. They mentioned they were planning on doing this, but I haven't seen any news on it, but they did mention this was going to be something they were going to focus on. We need a file browser to view and download community-made maps and game modes to play, even screenshots and clips. The current one for file sharing system has no ability to search for anything, and you just have to look for the specific person to download a map that you either probably saw on YouTube or saw on some other website. It needs to be something searchable on the Halo Waypoint and even in-game functionality like other Halo games have it. We also need a custom game search browser. I heard this was also being worked on, but yet haven't heard any new updates on it in a while. I'd like for players to be able to search for open custom games to play that are people that are hosting it to join, or that I can even host my own. It would be a big deal if we could do that, as it would make the game even more enjoyable to play. Halo 5, when it added this, improved the experience greatly for people like me. Just like Halo 5, I'd love to also on Halo MCC be able to host game nights and be able to play with other gamers and, get recordings for some of my videos, but also be able just to have a good time and relax and sit back and, enjoy the Halo Master Chief Collection. Number 8, Halo Reach. Now I'm starting to get up there in terms of more wishful thinking, but I'm still going to throw it out there because it's highly requested by many others other than just myself. I really want to see Halo Reach get added. I know already reverse compatibility does exist on the Xbox One, but currently the Halo Reach on Xbox One reverse compatibility has a hard time reading the disc and keeps crashing and keeps taking me over to the Blu-ray player, and it's just really annoying. And also people mention as well that the quality of the graphics is just really terrible on the Xbox One versus the Xbox 360. So, these are all issues that me and others experience when playing it. I've only been able to play Halo Reach 2 times because it took over 100 times putting my disc in and out before the Xbox could finally read it. It would be really nice if they could just include this in the Halo MCC, and they even would add in the multiplayer and include the invasion game mode and all the other Halo Reach features like customization abilities and its infection and all that kind of stuff. Would be really cool if they could do something like that. And for those saying that the Master Chief isn't in the game, just remember, so was Halo ODST in a way. If you're going to say references because there was the an Amberclad in that cutscene, you also got to remember that in Halo Reach they intentionally, Bungie put an Easter egg at the very end of Pillar of Autumn with Master Chief in it. Even though some people lore-wise say it's not him, they admitted by Bungie that it was supposed to be Master Chief. chief in that Easter egg reference. And currently it's the only game right now that still isn't formatted in a way to be on Xbox One and just has reverse compatibility. Even Halo Wars had a definitive edition. Number 9, Firefight Mode. With that said about Halo Reach being added, it would be really nice if they could have Halo 3's ODST and Halo Reach's Firefight modes to be added in with a matchmaking ability to line up with 4 players and play together. I got hours of entertainment playing these original ones, so I'd like for the developers to add these into 2 Firefight modes for Halo MCC. Number 10. Importing original custom creations. As you know, with my channel, I like to go back and play the classics, and with Xbox slowly being phased out and it's getting harder to get footage of this, or having to rely on permission or using fair usage amount of gameplay, it's hard to do clips of old game play footage from certain custom creations, even ones that no longer exist. People would love to go back and play some of the classic creations, the original ones, and trying to rebuild the classics has been very difficult. Some of the original custom creations, I remember people that built them, they said they spent days up to even months working on it, and to replicate it would take months as well. I know this is a huge challenge that's being asked to accomplish here, but if they were able to do something like this would improve the game by tenfold to make people want to come back. People still playing Halo 3 and Halo Reach and Halo 4 still on the Xbox 360 would be coming over, and when I mean importing old custom creations, I'm talking about stuff from things like, for instance, Halo Custom Edition and Halo 2 Vista from places like halomaps.org, where you can go and download directly, which was in a developer update notes that they said that they did this for a map and they were able to import it from halomaps.org and show that it had potential because it was successfully done. Most importantly, Halo 3 and Halo Reach's maps and modes from halo.bungie.net. The website is in archived state right now, and you can only use it as a reference source since you can't download directly, but since it is Halo property, which means it's owned by Microsoft now, when Bungie signed away its ownership, I don't know what all is involved in importing them over, but if they could do this and make this happen, just imagine how many custom creations people would be able to play again. I'd be hosting game nights far more often and could get far more content up for you guys a lot quicker if something like this was possible. The easiest of all of them would be Halo 4's maps on the Halo Waypoint, which probably doesn't take much to do because there wasn't probably much that was changed from bringing it over from 360 to Xbox One, but again, I don't know, but it would be great if they could add the halomaps.org, the halo.bungie.net, and the Halo 4 Waypoint files over to MCC. You drastically improve this game itself and its population. And here's a little bonus one for you I just want to add in that I'm also going to cover because I felt like doing it. And there's a large part of the Halo community that's requested this one. Number 11, MCC on PC. Probably the most unrealistic and wishful thinking here, but still one of the biggest requested people want, so I'm going to throw this out there just because I and others want to see this be something that they can do on PC, because Halo MCC on PC would be a big improvement. It doesn't even have to be MCC necessarily. Personally, I wish it would be a Microsoft thing where they would have a Halo game hub on PC and just has every Halo game that you can just play. It's all in one place, and just take your friends from one game to another. If everyone has each game downloaded, you can go from Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Campaign to Halo 3 multiplayer to Halo 2 custom games to Halo Wars 1 and 2 matchmaking to Halo Combat Evolved Custom Edition to Halo 5, all in one location. It's all there, whatever you can have as a party in a group in the size that allows, you can just take your whole group of friends over from one to the other, just like that. If that was possible, my god, would that be some epic Halo holiness right there. And they kind of have to consider this now, possibly because of the new announcement with the Project X Cloud coming out. They might want to consider doing this for Halo at least. Some others I'm going to briefly mention here, but not rank them as they weren't too high up on the list, but they were still something interesting to bring up just for the fun of it. So some of them would be like people want to see more independent rankings of Halo 2, 3, and 4, and if Reach was added as well with theirs as well. And by independent, I'm talking about the original ranks that they had in those game modes. So we're talking about things like Halo 2's Halo Ring level 50, Halo 3's 5-star General level 50, Halo Reach's Inheritor level Onyx, Halo 4's SR-130 CSR 50. Also, I wanted to mention about mod support for single player and custom games. I think it goes pretty much for basically anything that isn't matchmaking for obvious reasons, as stated earlier. I was really amazed by some of the mods people had created, like Halo's Custom Edition and Vista, El Dorito's Halo Online mod, as well as the Exuberant mod tool for Halo 5. Some other things that people wanted to see were things like Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary replacing some of the textures on the map with the ones from Combat Evolved Anniversary, so that they could see some updated textures. I'm not sure, how far they would actually be able to go with that, but that would be pretty interesting if they could do some option to swap out the textures on CE maps with whatever Anniversary ones they had. Another one which was highly requested over a year ago, but it was low population on the list, but I know that it was hugely requested, was to have Halo 3 Remastered and put on the Halo MCC. One of the good reasons they're improving this game is to get people to come back, and if they added this on, that would even add more of an improvement. People really want to see it happen, and I can only imagine how improved those graphics would look today, which would be another reason for people to get back on the Halo MCC. Anyways, you guys, that's the end of my video. If any of you guys have anything else you would like to see that would be added in a future update, anything you think is cool, make sure to post it down in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video here, so make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, hit those notifications, and share this video around if you want to show anyone, things that you would really love to see in Halo MCC. And just, post and comment all the stuff down below that you would like to see, and I'd love to hear them. Anyways, you all have a great day, and I'm out. See you later.